Welcome back to the Riverport Business Podcast, a show where we sit down with the people shaping business, creativity and innovation across St Ives and beyond. Today, I'm joined by Richard Austen from the Avenue Estate Agents. Richard's built a strong local reputation in an industry that's changed massively over the last decade, and we talk about his journey into estate agency, how the role has evolved, what buyers and sellers really value today, and how independent agencies like his compete with the big chains and the online platforms. If you're interested in property, business, or how traditional industries continue to adapt and thrive, this is a great one. So let's get into it. Richard, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to see you and sparing the time to talk about what you do. For anybody who doesn't know you, how do you describe what it is that you do?
Well, thank you firstly for having me on. Describing what we do. I suppose the pessimist would say we try to get people to spend too much money on something that they don't want to spend as much on, I guess. So, yeah, but no, truthfully, what we do, or what I try to do, is help people through what can be a seriously stressful process. I know it sounds really naff, but actually, when people come to selling houses, it is really stressful. And some people have done it many times, some haven't done it for years, decades. So it's trying to help them get the best sale financially. Most people think of it as just that, selling their property, but also their onward move. So it's not just getting property sold, it's helping them through the total journey.
And yours is a very personal way of selling houses, isn't it? Your service that you...
Yeah, I like to think so, at least anyway, again, without sounding cheesy. So the way I work is I deal with everything for my clients from start to finish. So from the moment that they pick up the phone to call me and have a chat with them about their property right the way through to completion. So, and a lot of people don't understand, they think that's the case with estate agents, but I genuinely do that. So everything from valuations to booking appointments and viewings, feedback, everything. So yeah, they deal with me for the whole lot.
So how did you end up doing what you're doing now?
Yeah, good question. So, I mean, do you mean coming from estate agency in general to now, or just from way back when? Well, I used to work I was the managing director for a local independent estate agent, sort of managing a team of people in the traditional sort of hierarchy of, you kind of have receptionists or negotiators and valuers and branch managers and things. So I left there to start my own business effectively, because I could see the industry's changed massively, especially over in the last 5 years, and could kind of see the way it's going. And that's what I thought would be great to get involved with, and really what I wanted to get back doing. It was just a good avenue for me.
How does that work for the Avenue?
The Avenue, yeah, really well. So the Avenue it's my business. South Cambridgeshire, the Avenue, South Cambridgeshire is my business. But we are a network of agents, all in the same vein. So a national network of personal agents. And that works really, really well. So my clients get the benefit of having local expertise from myself and that one-to-one service, that kind of concierge. I'll take care of everything. But they get the benefits of the Avenue having that national exposure and a network of other local agents offering. And it enables us to be much more dynamic, more interactive with each other, which benefits our clients, rather than just kind of this is it, we're a local agent, we know the area and serve it, fine, but then kind of don't have that further reach an aspect to it, yeah.
Estate agents have had a bad press in the past.
Yep.
From your point of view, what do you think is the most common misconception that people have of estate agents?
So I think the biggest misconception, or the kind of term that I have, is that we're just kind of shysters, for want of a better word. We've got this black dot against our name, that we are just out for selling a property, don't care, and as long as we get it sold, and that's the job done. But realistically, I think most people, the real world view of it is most people just think we all do the same job. Like, it's nowadays, the view is, well, you put it on Rightmove, a house sells itself, and that's it. So we all do the same thing. Some are better than others. You might get a slightly better service from some, and there might be someone that you favour a little bit more. But that wholly isn't true. That is just not the case at all. Especially for a while, I think it probably was, but just definitely isn't the case anymore.
You touched on it earlier on, but there is sort of like there's been quite a big change in the industry. How does it compare with when you started out working for sort of a more sort of corporate estate agent?
It's changed. I'd say the biggest change when I first started, it was, you could call it a generation of whether it be corporate or larger independent sort of chain, I guess. You get the 2 or 3 branch independent estate agents, and it is kind of everyone doing a very similar thing. Rightmove was more in its kind of really reach its peak, not that it hasn't now, but that was all that there was. So it was everyone doing a very similar thing. You might get the introduction of some professional photos on the listing and things, but the hierarchy and everything was very much the same for everyone. As I say, you got that everything from a negotiator, valuer, maybe a senior valuer, or what have you, sales consultant and branch manager, and that was it across the board. Now, in the last probably 5 years, certainly since COVID, it changed massively. The options out there, 1, to estate agents themselves, and 2, to clients, has changed. You've got the rise of, let's call it self-employed agents, much like myself, that they work for themselves and deal with their clients one-to-one. So I, again, myself, work for myself. I take on a set number of clients at any one time so I can serve them in that way. That just didn't exist. And it means, because people did think that you climb the ladder of a estate agency, through the branch, and then if you wanted to do anything for yourself, you had to open up another office and have this team. You just don't have to. The technology, the brokerages, the means, everything has enabled that option to come out, and that's massively benefited clients as well, because now they can get a premium service, someone who's not just the service, the marketing, and we can go into that, but marketing, service and everything that benefits them so much more. Then I'm not saying there's anything wrong with traditional high street agency, but that was the only option clients had, and some are better than others, like I've said, but now they can have a different choice. And if they want to work with someone, a lot of people used to choose an agent based on who was sitting in their lounge valuing at the time, but not realising that's not who they got for the whole journey. Now they can choose someone and go, right, that's the person I want to work with, and they actually get to work with them from start to finish.
It's interesting because there must have been a point when you were in that world that you thought to yourself, there's a better way of doing this.
Yeah.
And I can do it better in my own way.
Yeah. But I'd got to a point where I definitely wanted to do something for myself, and short of, buying that company or buying into it, whatever, which just wasn't possible, we're looking at other options. The thing is, with the corporate world, we'll call it the corporate world for day-to-day estate agency, there's so much pressure and the margins are so fine. So you've got to take on every listing that comes along. You've got to try and make any sale which way or the other, So that's why you find a lot of with these agents, and I'm not just knocking high street agency, but you find that they will overvalue a property to win business, and they will then look at that strategy to try and reduce it, which is no good for the client, but it's because they just need those listings. It's just that. Whereas actually, and they will take on any client, good, bad, indifferent. And not all business is good business. If you want someone that wants way too much money for their property and they're going to be a nightmare, you're going to waste loads of time there on that person with unrealistic expectations. If you're not brave enough to put that person in their place and expect you're going to spend so much time of your own, and it will cost you. So looked at it and said, look, I know that I can serve my clients better, or I can have a set of clients I want to work with really closely, do a great job for them, get them a better result, because that benefits them and it benefits me. And also there's a lot in the industry now with being self-employed, a better way of working. It's not just the usual 9 to 5 situation anymore, especially as a self-employed agent. So yeah, it was at that time I'd got to the pinnacle of where I was in that agency and said, look, there is now a way to do something better, and that's what I want to do.
So it's like a value of service goes up when you have the type of service or company that you have and the way that you deal with it.
It makes absolute sense, and it's just logical that you are going to get a consistent service, a better service, and a better net result because of that, because you've got the same person and the business owner. Generally, people doing what I do and what I do, you are getting the most experienced individual, a better salesperson, not a junior or anything. Again, everyone has to start there, and that's fine. But to employ someone like myself, you're employing the business owner that's going to deal with every aspect to it. Me taking an inquiry and booking a viewing in, with the greatest respect, I'm going to do a much better job of that. And because it's me and my business, I'm not going to be booking in anyone that can't afford it or is just being nosy or anything. I'm not going to waste my time doing that. And that's where myself and my clients' goals align, because they're desperate to sell the house and I need to sell it because it's my business and of my interest. And so by me doing everything, it gets them a better result. I build a better relationship with the buyer as well. So by the time they've walked through the door, I've already spoken to them, I'm meeting them, and that sets up for a better negotiation as well, which is why I achieve better asking prices, better offers to my asking price. So their net result for the client is far better. Yeah.
So with all the changes in the way the world of estate agency, well, the whole area has changed,
Yep.
how has things like social media and online portals benefited or
Yep.
degraded that service?
It's it's such a funny one, isn't it? Because everyone, Rightmove is Rightmove. You can, some agents might say, well, you don't need to be on Rightmove anymore, and you do. You just absolutely do. It's the number one thing. It would be kill your career if you didn't. But it's not just about that anymore. It really isn't. So what Rightmove has done is kind of level the playing field for everyone, because you have to have a listing on there. And if you just want to put your property on Rightmove, you can choose a kind of stock agent to do that and you'll get a job done. But if you want to accelerate and get a better result, there is the ability with other agents like myself again that use different versions of marketing and upgraded marketing that can make you stand out. So it's almost actually made everyone up their game a little bit. So some people will complain and say, oh, well, it's just, it's on Rightmove and it's so hard to stand out. Well, they're the people that aren't going to do anything else. It's actually for the people that want to do better, it's made them up their game. So then getting to the point of then how social media and technology and marketing has it helped or hindered, or what's it doing? Well, it's actually helped, because then via the use of social media, so all my clients get a social media campaign and I utilize that massively. So that just drives more of their digital footprint and interest to the local market and for my clients and their properties. So I'm getting more eyes on my clients' properties than other agents that aren't utilising those functions for their clients, and they're just dependent on Rightmove.
To get your competitive advantage
Yeah.
over the big corporate estate agents and the online stuff,
Yep.
it's about using those tools, those social media platforms, the online tools that are available to actually get you above and achieve better efficiency. You're not dealing with people who are just sniffing around, looking for something or trying to find out how much something is worth. That's what elevates you above those other platforms.
It's exactly that. And you find the thing is, the corporate agents, and you call it corporate agents, they're so restricted by what they can do because they have to operate on a real corporate basis. There's so much red tape. So a local branch office, you can say, well, they've got an office in the town there. Whereas actually what they might spend on an office rental, for example, I'm spending that on social media, and that's more eyes on. Pound for pound, you are going to get so many more eyes on clients' properties, and that's where social media and everything else that we do helps. It takes effect. We're not restricted by that corporate red tape that we can't do this and we can't do that. If I want to and do the extra for my client, because that's going to be a new strategy that I can do to get then more viewings, more interest and activity, and a plan B, C, D for them, rather than just we've only got this option, that's it. Yeah, brilliant. The social media, that effectively is my shop window. As opposed to having just a fixed point in a high street, it makes me far more dynamic as my effectively virtual office.
And your sales targets are dictated by you,
Yeah.
not by somebody coming in every month and saying you did this many this month, you've
Yep.
got to do more next month, which is a pressure,
Yep.
which people think can be an advantage to selling more, whatever it is you're selling.
Yeah.
But in this case, you're actually being a lot more efficient because you're choosing things that work well for you and work well for your customers. So it's very much a personal service that you offer to your clients. So the relationships with your clients must be super important.
Yeah, that is paramount. It's absolutely paramount. And the good thing about that, touching on the KPIs and the targets from the corporate world, so it really doesn't benefit clients. So if a valuer knows that they've got to go out and have X amount of listings per month, otherwise they're going to get it in the ear from their manager or whoever, they're not going to go out and tell that client the right thing. So it's, the last week of the month and they've got to get an extra 3 listings on the market. So if they go out to a number of clients to see them, that they are very likely going to tell them more than that client probably wants to hear. So if its realistic value is 500, well, let's tell them it's 550 to get it on the market. And we know that come a few weeks when there's no interest, we'll just get them to reduce it. So the thing that I always would advise anyone looking to sell, and it's not just for me or anything, is ask that estate agent what their actual performing numbers are. So what are your reduction rates? Because I know, a lot of local competitors and everything, you're talking 50-60% of property being, of their stock is being reduced. So it's all well and good saying I've got X amount of listings. This is where it's nonsensical. It's great saying that I've got X amount of listings, but how much are you selling them? What's your conversion rate? It's great to say, that agent has they've got all the properties on the market, but are they being sold? What their asking price getting to? And that's where targets don't meet realistic results for clients. Whereas it's of no value to me to go into someone's property and give them false expectations on it. It's not always what they want to hear, but I'll give those hard truths that actually gets the job done. Because we can go on, we can have a better strategy, and it's all about the strategy that you want to place for that client and what their motivations and goals are. So for me, it's always sitting down and getting to know what their move needs to look like. It doesn't necessarily dictate what the property's worth, but it's what strategy we're going to take to get there. So yeah, the relationship's dead important. And what I'm getting at is that because I'm not KPI led and I know I've not got a manager, it's only myself that I'm responsible to, I can give that client the best honest advice. It's not always necessarily what they want to hear, but it is the right honest advice that's going to get the job done. And look, sometimes people will go with someone that's offered them that 50 grand more because they're saying that they can get it. And then, a few months down the line, then they'll come back to me. And that's absolutely fine. And at that point, at least they know they've been through it. And that just makes our relationship stronger. And they've got that trust in me because from the word go, I always tell them what the actual case was.
Richard, that's been fascinating.
All right.
Talking to you. Thanks very much for coming in. The insights into your industry and how it's changed and offering a more personal concierge service to your clients. It really is fascinating. Thanks very much.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Many thanks to Richard for sharing some fascinating insights into how the estate agency world has changed and what sets independent businesses apart and why trust, relationships and local knowledge still matter more than ever. And if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring business stories right here on the Riverport Business Podcast.